not subscribed to our channel, you can do so by clicking the subscribe button as shown above. Hello friends, welcome to Kamath Astrology. In today's video, we will cover an important transit. On May 10th, 2023, Mars enters the sign of Cancer and forms a shadashtak yoga with Shani in Aquarius. Now this happens immediately after the lunar eclipse on 5th May 2023, and therefore this is a very significant event, and this shadashtak yoga will have a major impact on the world. So now let us have a look at the chart on 10th May 2023 at 2:13 pm. So at 2:13 pm IST, Mars moves into the sign of Cancer. Now what exactly is shadashtak? Shadashtak means two planets are at 6-8 position from each other. You can see two squares in red. The planet SA represents Saturn, the planet MA represents Mars. And if you count Mars and Saturn from each other, you will find that Mars is 6 positions away from Saturn and Saturn is 8 positions away from Mars. So that is nothing but a shadashtak yoga, and planets in shadashtak depict a lot of enmity between each other. Now the next thing you will say is that this shadashtak gets formed very often. So what is so great about this? Now one important thing you should note is that this time the shadashtak is getting formed when Mars is in its debilitation sign of Cancer and Saturn is in the Mool Trikon sign of Aquarius and very powerful. So Mars is debilitated, Saturn is very powerful right now. Now, what is Mars in Cancer? What is the sign of Cancer all about? The sign of Cancer or Kark is about emotions, it is about nurturing, it is about caring. And when you put an aggressive, fiery planet, warlike planet such as Mars in the emotional sign of Cancer, what is going to happen? Anger becomes your emotion. War becomes your emotion. Frustration becomes your emotion. That is why Mars is debilitated in the sign of Cancer. It is like a soldier who is accustomed to fighting on the battlefield suddenly being told to take care of children in a nurturing manner in a nursery. So this is not really the role of Mars, and therefore Mars feels very frustrated in the sign of Cancer. Therefore it is debilitated there. So when anger becomes emotion, what happens? You are going to feel very frustrated about something in your life. You are going to feel a burst of anger, but you may not be able to do much about it. Now, if you look at India's ascendant is the Taurus ascendant. And now Mars is getting debilitated in the third house of Cancer for India's ascendant. Now the third house represents the borders of a country. It represents the neighbors of the country. So in countries such as Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, which are neighboring countries to India, anger will become the emotion. That is, people there will be very angry. With whom? With the government, with the people in authority, with those in power. Now such a debilitated Mars puts its 8th aspect on Saturn in the sign of Aquarius. And what is Saturn all about? Saturn is about hurdles, delays, obstacles, absolute patience, scarcity. So such countries will experience scarcity of resources in this time period. There will be extreme anger in the general public. Saturn is also aspecting the Sun in Aries, Jupiter in Aries, and therefore wise counsel will not prevail in this time period. People can take law into their own hands and these countries may experience large scale riots. The Shadashtak Yoga shows a struggle between the army and the general public, as well as the government and the general public. The people in such countries will get tired of the ruling government, and also the army, out of its frustration, may use certain atrocious techniques to harm the people in such countries, and that will result in a revolution, a fight, and a possible overthrowing of the government. So, India's neighboring countries, namely Bangladesh, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Nepal, these countries have to be very careful in this time period where this Shadashtak Yoga of Mars and Saturn will show its maximum impact. Now, one more interesting thing is the lunar eclipse happens on 5th May 2023, and this lunar eclipse is a penumbral lunar eclipse, and it is visible in Africa, Australia, not much in India, not much in the Asian countries. However, the lunar eclipse indicates bringing out new things. The lunar eclipse happens when Moon and Ketu are in the sign of Libra. Libra is the sign of balance, Libra is the sign of harmony, and both Moon and Ketu will be in Swati Nakshatra when the lunar eclipse happens. Now, Ketu is the natural ruler of the 8th house of Scorpio. Scorpio indicates secrets, it indicates hidden things. And when Ketu now comes with the moon and gives the lunar eclipse, it is going to bring out a lot of secrets. Saturn puts the 10th aspect on the sign of Scorpio or Vrishik, and therefore lot of secrets will come out in this time period. Lot of hidden things will be brought out by the judge in this time period. Saturn is a judge, he represents justice. So this is a time period when justice will be done. Now remember, Mars represents the fire element. Fiery Mars is in a water sign. Saturn represents the air element, and Saturn is right now in an airy sign. And both these planets are at 6-8 positions from each other. So this can indicate massive explosions, massive conflicts between the public, the government and the army in such countries. Even in India, as soon as Mars enters the sign of Cancer, the possibility of riots, fights between general public and the state governments will increase in this time period. And therefore, this is a period when extreme caution has to be taken to safeguard ourselves from such situations. The next question you will have is, how long is Mars going to be in a Shadashtak Yoga with Saturn? Now, Mars will be in a Shadashtak Yoga with Saturn till 1st July 2023. And around mid-June, Saturn also goes retrograde. That is when we will see the maximum impact of this Shadashtak Yoga. So the May-June time frame is very critical, and it can trigger riots, it can trigger a lot of problems in the neighboring countries where anger will become the emotion. Now, even after 1st July 2023, Mars is then going to enter the sign of Leo. Leo is the 4th house for India's ascendant, that is the Taurus ascendant. 4th house represents masses, it represents general public, it represents peace, comfort, homeland. And now Saturn and Mars will start mutually aspecting each other. So that is also not a very good time. In fact, it indicates a very challenging time for India post 1st July 2023. The trigger for this challenging time will start now itself, that is from 10th May 2023. And you will see that this entire stretch starting 10th May till the end of July is extremely dangerous, and it can lead to lot of conflicts, lot of political events, lot of explosive events, riots, religious disharmony. So these are all the challenges that we are going to see in the coming months, and mentally we should be prepared for all of this. So friends, the intent of this video is not to scare you, not to frighten you, but this is what the planetary combination indicates. I have explained this in detail to you as to why I am arriving at this conclusion. Now let me go into a bit more depth. Aquarius is the natural 11th house of the zodiac. 11th house represents your wishes, your aspirations, your networking ability, your friend circle. It also represents large organizations. Saturn represents work, Saturn represents karma, Saturn represents the working masses, the general public. On the other hand, Mars in Cancer represents extreme anger, frustration, and since these planets are in a shadashtak, it also represents frustration of people over lack of jobs or being removed from jobs in this time period. So recently some of you asked me to make a video on the impact of recession on the Indian economy. I deliberately did not do a video because I didn't find many positive things to make that video. In short, this Shadashtak Yoga is going to increase the layoffs, it is going to increase the recession in the coming times. And at least for the next 2 months, definitely this is going to increase on a large scale. So now many people are under the impression that because people are getting laid off in US, those projects will come to India and India's economy will boom. Now let me give you an honest answer. As long as Saturn and Mars are in a shadashtak, or as long as Saturn Mars mutually aspect each other, India's economy is not really going to boom that much. In fact, the frustration among the general public over lack of proper jobs suitable for their qualifications is going to increase in this time period. So definitely over the next few months, the recession in US will also have an impact on India, and I don't see India's economy really booming that much as it is hyped in different news channels or in different forums. So this is my honest assessment based on the planetary positions at this point in time. You can see the frustration of Mars in Cancer. It is like a soldier working in a kitchen. He is not going to be happy there because his job lies on the battlefield. Same thing is happening with the youth in our country today. They are not really getting jobs relevant to their qualifications and they are not ready to do other types of work. So that is also a major challenge which the government is experiencing at this time. So the message to all of you is to be satisfied with what you have at this time. Try to gain new knowledge, new skills. Try to do something new which will help you in the future. So friends, that's all from my end. The planets clearly tell you what is in store for the next few months. So be cautious, save money, learn new things, equip yourself to sustain yourself better in the future. Now for any queries, you can write to us at astrosevaworld@yahoo.com or visit our website astroseva.tripod.com. So friends, thanks a lot. Bye. Take care and stay safe.